Hello, and welcome back to Mirror Mind, a space where we reflect, learn, and grow together. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, emotionally drained, or strangely jealous of someone you were never even thinking about, you might have been part of something called triangulation. Today, we're going to explore a very subtle, but very powerful manipulation tactic that's often used by narcissists and toxic individuals. It's called triangulation, creating chaos and competition. We'll break it down in simple language. No psychology degree required, just your presence, your curiosity, and your willingness to see things a little more clearly. Let's begin. Triangulation is a term that originally comes from psychology, especially family systems theory. But in modern conversations, especially those around toxic or narcissistic behavior, triangulation has taken on a more specific meaning. At its core, triangulation is a tactic used to control people and relationships by introducing a third person into the dynamic, often to create tension, jealousy, insecurity, or competition. Imagine this: you're having a pretty normal friendship with someone. Let's call them Alex. Suddenly, Alex keeps bringing up another friend. Let's call them Jordan. Jordan always gets me, they say. Jordan never complains like you do. Jordan thinks I'm hilarious. You never laugh at my jokes. At first, you might shrug it off. But slowly, something starts to happen. You feel compared. You feel like you're in a competition you didn't sign up for. You begin trying harder to win Alex's approval. You feel uneasy, but you're not sure why. That's triangulation. It's when someone, intentionally or not, uses a third party to shift the balance of power, keeping others off balance, insecure, or emotionally hooked. Now, let's be clear. Not every mention of a third person is triangulation. It becomes manipulation when it's used repeatedly to create emotional tension, rivalry, or confusion, especially when it serves the manipulator's agenda. Narcissists are particularly skilled at this. They thrive in environments where people around them are divided, unsure, and emotionally dependent. Triangulation helps create exactly that kind of environment. So, why would someone want to create chaos or competition among people who care about them? The answer lies in control and validation. For narcissists, attention and admiration are emotional fuel. They're constantly seeking validation, but more than that, they want to be the center of everyone's world. They want people to orbit around them like planets around the sun. Triangulation allows them to keep others insecure and emotionally invested. By comparing you to someone else, the narcissist creates self-doubt in you, boosts their own ego. Look how much power I have. Pits people against each other so no one becomes too powerful or independent. Avoids accountability by shifting the focus or playing people off each other. In simpler words, if you and the other person, the third party, ever teamed up, questioned the narcissist's behavior, or started setting boundaries, the narcissist would lose control. Triangulation makes sure that doesn't happen. Let's say you confront the narcissist about something they did. Instead of owning up, they say something like, "You're being dramatic. Sarah never complains when I do that. You should be more like Mark. He always supports me. Even my therapist says I'm not the problem." You start questioning yourself. Maybe you are being too sensitive. Maybe Sarah is a better friend. Maybe you're the problem. And that's the trap. Triangulation is not just about making you jealous or insecure. It's about keeping you emotionally destabilized, so the narcissist remains in control. Triangulation doesn't only happen in extreme or abusive relationships. It shows up quietly in friendships, families, romantic partnerships, and even the workplace. The reason it's so powerful is because it's often hidden behind things that seem normal. Venting, comparisons, bonding, or just being honest. Let's look at some examples. 1. Triangulation in romantic relationships. This is perhaps the most obvious form. A narcissistic partner might mention an ex, a coworker, or even a stranger constantly and strategically. "My ex never used to nag me about this. People at work are always telling me how great I am. Maybe you just don't see it. I could get with someone better if I wanted to." These statements aren't just hurtful, they're meant to be. They keep you feeling like you're not enough and that you must compete for their affection. You may start walking on eggshells, dressing differently, or trying harder. Not because it feels right, but because you've been emotionally cornered. This is triangulation. It creates chaos in your self-worth and competition against people who probably aren't even part of the conversation anymore. 2. Triangulation in friendships. Let's say you have a close friend. You trust them and you've shared a lot together. But suddenly, they start mentioning someone else all the time. I told Katie about what you said and she totally agrees with me. Unlike you, Josh always checks in on me. Everyone else thinks you're being selfish. Now, you're not only dealing with a conflict with your friend, you're also being compared to others, or worse, being ganged up on emotionally. In toxic friendships, triangulation can be used to isolate you from other people in your circle or to make you feel insecure even when you've done nothing wrong. It becomes a power game. 3. Triangulation in families. This is very common, especially in dysfunctional or narcissistic family systems. A parent might say to one sibling, "Why can't you be more like your brother? Your sister never gives me this kind of trouble. I already talked to your cousin about this." Even they think you're ungrateful. What starts to happen is rivalry, resentment, and confusion. Siblings stop trusting each other. Parents position themselves as the center of power and attention. And children, even as adults, may carry the emotional scars of this manipulation for years. In some families, triangulation is a way for a parent to keep control by making sure the children are never truly united. 4. Triangulation at work. This one can be subtle. A boss might say to one employee, "I wish you worked as hard as James. I already talked to the team, and they agree with me. You're not pulling your weight. People are complaining about you, but I won't say who." This creates a toxic environment of distrust, insecurity, and gossip. Instead of healthy communication, people become isolated. They fear being replaced. And once again, the person using triangulation remains in power while the rest stay off balance. Triangulation isn't just confusing, it's emotionally destructive. People who experience repeated triangulation often feel confused because the third party is rarely visible or accessible. Insecure because they feel constantly compared or judged. Emotionally exhausted from trying to prove their worth. Jealous or competitive even if they never felt that way before. Disconnected from themselves, their values, and their truth. One of the cruelest effects of triangulation is that it can make you question your reality. You may start thinking, maybe I am the problem. Maybe everyone really does think I'm difficult. Maybe I need to try harder, be nicer, work more, or shrink myself to be accepted. And here's the truth. You're not broken. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining things. You're reacting to a system of emotional manipulation that was designed to keep you off balance. It's a system that serves the one who uses it, not the people being pulled into it. You might be wondering, why didn't I see this earlier? The answer is you weren't supposed to. Triangulation is usually slow, subtle, and disguised as normal behavior. The manipulator rarely says, "Hey, I'm trying to mess with your head right now." Instead, they frame their behavior as being honest, wanting to help, giving feedback, telling you what others are saying. It feels almost logical, but underneath the surface, it's designed to undermine your sense of peace and power. And often, you're emotionally attached to the person using this tactic, which makes it even harder to recognize and walk away from. So, what have we learned? Triangulation is more than just a communication issue, it's a manipulation tactic often used by narcissists or emotionally immature people to gain control, avoid accountability, and keep others in a state of confusion and competition. It shows up in many forms through comparisons, gossip, favoritism, and secret alliances. It can happen in romantic relationships, friendships, families, and even professional environments. The common thread is this: someone is using a third party to control the emotional dynamic between people. The real danger of triangulation isn't just the chaos it creates on the outside. It's the internal chaos it leaves behind, the self-doubt, the emotional exhaustion, the feeling that you're never enough, never safe, never truly seen. But here's what I want you to remember. You have the right to healthy, honest, and direct communication. You deserve relationships where you are not compared, competed with, or manipulated behind your back. And you are allowed to walk away from people who thrive on division and confusion. Seeing through triangulation is an act of power. Choosing clarity over chaos is an act of healing. Breaking the cycle is an act of courage. It may take time. You may stumble. You may second-guess yourself. But every step you take toward emotional awareness is a step toward freedom. If this message resonated with you, I want you to take a deep breath right now and remind yourself. You are not here to be compared. You are not here to compete for love. You are not here to be manipulated. You are here to grow, to heal, and to be at peace with who you truly are. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Mirror Mind, a space for reflection, awareness, and truth. If this video helped you, or if you know someone who needs to hear it, please share it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next reflection. Until next time, keep your mind clear, your heart steady, and your mirror honest. Take care.